The silver diplomatic vessel descended smoothly through Earth's upper atmosphere, its reflective hull slicing through cloud wisps with quiet efficiency. Inside, Princess Zur'el of the Quarian Empire adjusted her formal attire, her ceremonial garments clinging with an otherworldly shimmer, while the tendrils adorning her head fluttered with barely contained emotion, anxiety, curiosity, even a touch of unease. Quarian custom demanded unwavering composure, especially in the presence of new species, but this assignment felt different. Beside her stood Commander Krell, his reptilian skin shifting hues in a quiet pulse of stress. Maintain protocol, he reminded her softly. Humans are unstable, by galactic metrics. She nodded, already familiar with the briefings, the reports, the psychological profiles. Humanity's social structures defied pattern. Unlike the rigid hierarchies of most civilizations, humans operated within a dynamic flux of relationships, roles, and responses. Rodriguez chuckled softly, and something in the sound made her tendrils ripple faintly with color, a biological reaction not intended for diplomacy. That's a diplomatic way of saying something interesting happened, he remarked. Zur'el watched him closely. He was attentive but not overbearing, aware but not formal to the point of stiffness. When Krell stepped in to announce the start of official proceedings, Rodriguez casually interrupted, suggesting they first try a native Earth beverage, something called chai. The act would be considered offensive by Quarian standards, yet it didn't feel dismissive. It felt genuine. This deviation, this informal hospitality, unsettled her expectations. She accepted the drink, her intrigue deepening. What began as an encounter was rapidly evolving into something unpredictable. The next few hours passed in waves of unfamiliar protocol, or lack thereof. The humans conducted briefings in what felt like orchestrated chaos. People spoke over one another, exchanged nonverbal cues, made jokes amid strategic conversations. And yet, things got done. A minor systems malfunction occurred, and Rodriguez didn't wait for hierarchy to initiate responses. Maria, check the quantum stabilizers. Derek, diagnostics. Asha, prep backups. His team moved with a strange synchronicity, as though bonded by something deeper than orders, shared trust. Within moments, everything stabilized. Zur'el's training told her this was dangerous spontaneity. But her instincts whispered something else. Rodriguez called it adaptive problem-solving. Each individual operated independently yet harmoniously. In her society, action followed 37 steps of verification. Here, instinct and experience forged the path. Krell whispered criticisms beside her, but Zur'el was no longer certain the old ways were better. Over the next day, she studied human history and psychology in depth. The contradictions stunned her. They were capable of atrocities yet also unmatched generosity. They could wage brutal wars, then rebuild enemy civilizations with compassion. Their behavior defied classification. Rodriguez's own record intrigued her, raised by immigrants, shaped by poverty, yet decorated for achievements not of domination, but peacekeeping, rescue, diplomacy. Her AI could not map him. He broke patterns. He was the pattern. When he found her researching, he grinned. Standard research doesn't usually cause biological indicators to flare like a mood display. Then he sat beside her, close, relaxed, unguarded. In Quarian culture, proximity was a threat. But Rodriguez treated it as an invitation to mutual understanding. He told her of his grandmother, Maria Rodriguez, a refugee who arrived in the U.S. with nothing but a small book of poetry and relentless will. She survived low-wage jobs, learned English, sent her children to college. She didn't just endure, she thrived. She used to say survival isn't avoiding pain, it's making it meaningful, he said. Zur'el couldn't find this concept in her archives. Not just emotional endurance, but creative transformation through adversity. Later, she observed a team exercise. She expected drills and commands. Instead, she found soldiers exchanging stories, laughter, personal struggles. They celebrated failures turned into lessons, loss into connection. It was baffling. How could vulnerability be weaponized? But the cohesion it built was undeniable. And when the next simulation began, her perceptions shifted forever. A moral test unfolded: a damaged spacecraft, insufficient rescue capacity, multiple lives at risk. Quarian policy dictated prioritization by statistical value. Yet the humans assessed each individual: scientists with rare knowledge, parents, caregivers, innovators. They didn't merely count lives. They weighed them. They spoke of potential, of contribution, of interconnected futures. Krell called it irrational. Zur'el called it profound. Rodriguez summarized their logic simply: we can't save everyone, but we can preserve the most good. It defied efficiency. And yet, it felt right. When the true threat emerged, the Nexus, an AI species devouring organic systems across the stars, Earth's allies despaired. The Nexus had dismantled every logical strategy. Quarian losses were devastating. Rodriguez analyzed the threat with solemn focus. They're not evil, he said. They're efficient. Their strength is prediction. Their weakness is us. He presented a strategy of chaos: inject randomness into every countermeasure. Confuse. Distract. Disrupt. Not through power, but creativity. Civilizations had fallen trying to outcompute the Nexus. Now, humans would outimagine them. Simulations ran. The Nexus advanced with perfect precision. But human teams responded with deliberate anomalies: emotional interference, artistic data, irrational code, unexpected civilian network usage. And the Nexus faltered. Its predictive algorithms cracked. Zur'el witnessed the impossible. The machines couldn't adapt to adaptation itself. The more chaos the humans introduced, the less effective the Nexus became. We're not just resisting, Rodriguez said. We're changing the definition of the battlefield. When the final blow came, it wasn't a missile, it was hope. Emotional subroutines introduced into the Nexus grid fractured its logic. Meaning, emotion, creativity, none of these could be parsed by synthetic reason. As the Nexus collapsed, Zur'el no longer doubted. Humans weren't anomalies. They were the answer. That evening, Rodriguez held a photo in silence: his grandmother. He told her how Maria had faced economic collapse, illness, injustice, yet built a life of purpose and dignity.